think it's the best field ever.
It's a great way to get people engaged. The piece that we find in art therapy is that by having people do something while they're talking, they can get to the root of the problem a little bit quicker.
Into something, and art always comes from yourself. So whatever you make has something to do with you. It can't not have something to do with you. Well, think about mindfulness and think about having your mind in the present moment. When you're making a piece of art, you're not thinking about the past or the future. You're thinking about right now.
A certain way, but it's really important for us to hear the narrative behind the art making and what the person was thinking about or feeling or experiencing while they were making art. Because again, we can't read minds. We can kind of infer, but at the same time, we're not going to project our own experience onto that art making because it's, again, tied to the person who's making it.
I made those handbook ceramic sculptures based off of my illustrations, and it was just a really cool way to meditate on what those characters are to me and like specific themes that I associated with certain characters. Like they all had different postures going on, and then on their bellies I made sgraffito illustrations, which sgraffito is when you like, I don't know if you've taken a ceramic class, but it's when you cover something with underglaze or a slip while it's unfired and you let it dry a little bit and then you scratch into that like layer of slip. So I did sgraffito illustrations. And yeah, I mean when you're doing anything with ceramics, like it's a long dedicated process where you need to be really meticulous and focused. And so spending a lot of time with those things really, it was like a meditation on the subjects I was approaching, which were things like the difficulties of, being being alive, like being a product of two people and they're being raised, how like complicated and complex that is. I was like in my own personal life, I was dealing with things like really horrible, violent death that someone I was close to went through, and that I think it's hard to talk about that. So it's easier to try to like find a way to visually express that.
It's always been my therapy. I'm like, this works for people. And the expression is just so diverse and vast, and it's amazing. And what we know about trauma and how it's recorded in our brain, it's almost like a movie. We have these visuals, we have these pictures, and it's like that goes into our neural networks. And as we're processing it through months and years, we go to therapy and we try to talk about it, right? And I have people whose throat closes up. I have somebody who has selective mutism. So we've been doing therapy since July and there has been no language in the therapy room. It's all through art. And so even when we don't have the words to say, it's like art can express that trauma or the story that we have to tell. And it's just a really amazing, beautiful process. It does it differently, but my style is, it's very introspective. You do the journey within, and it's about the process, not the product. It's about the journey, not the destination. It's whatever's happening for you internally. So sometimes there aren't a lot of words going on in therapy, but this just speaks so much.